So it's there. Oh. Okay, well, welcome everybody to the online opening of Uncommon Threads. I'm going to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples joining us today. Welcome to the online opening of Uncommon Threads, which is a Naarm Textile Collective group exhibition. The exhibition is on now until the 28th of October at 45Downstairs, which is at 45 Flinders Lane, Melbourne. And I know so few of you were there last night and it was a great night. It was fantastic. So Uncommon Threads raises awareness of contemporary textile arts, bringing artists together and introducing them to new audiences. The exhibition showcases innovative works using a range of materials and techniques that challenge and subvert traditional ideas of textile art. The exhibition is curated by me, Tamara Russell, for the Naarm Textile Collective. I can put that away now. So I'm going to share my screen and basically I'm going to work through the works and I won't be able to see who's here. So when your works come up, if you want to just turn yourself on and start talking, and then you can tell us all about why you made them. So as I say, it's on now at 45Downstairs. That's the blurb, but that's on the website. We've got all these wonderful artists. We started with 80 artists and sadly 3 had to withdraw. So we're down to 77, which is a nice number to look at anyway. So that's great. And just such diversity. So first we have Amber Lucy. Now the yellow piece on the side lit up in the gallery and they look fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to slowly go through them so you get time to look. Amy Cohen did this lovely sculptural piece. Angelina Rosito. It's a beautiful, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a necklace, but we all thought it looked like a necklace because it's just beautiful machine embroidery. Annie made these lovely eco-dyed pieces. Then Arabella has these wood textured pieces, which looked just fantastic up. And we've got them in the gallery on top of each other. So you get that nice arch. Avril, these 3 pieces, or the 3 textiles these came from, were from her own nightie, her mother's nightie, and her grandma's nightie. And then she has the woven piece where she's used the materials to weave them into that textile piece. Brenda has this lovely old tin, which is embroidered with the pieces and called Urban Scar. I probably should be saying the name. Carol did it when all that's left are memories. Christine has this wonderful How Did I Get There? And the problem was when we were setting up the gallery, we kept thinking someone was sitting on the floor because it's so realistic. Christine has these lovely banners called Voyage. And Clara Batten-Smith, we had 2 Claras this time, had these wonderful things. So there's the bunyip for Australia and the jackalope was from, I can't remember if it was Canada or America now, that's terrible. But so they were her 2 homelands. Clara Mi Yi Chang did these 2 lovely pieces, Adjacent Possible Difference and Repetition, and the Becoming With. We've got Clarine, who did the Elwood's Foreshore in the Full Moon. This is great because it's got all textured and little heads on it. So it's kind of really kooky. It's great. Deb K. Williams had these 2 wonderfully textured structural pieces. There's Salt Marshes on the left and the Earthly Enchantment Project on the right. Then we had Deb Weston's 21st Century Ragdoll, which is all made out of plastic bags and bits that are just discarded. Denise had this lovely Scraps with Garnish, Marston Study No. 1. It's lovely pink. Di had her ute number 1 and up and away, and there were lots of comments about how cool the ute was. Dijon has this lovely No Planet B, which when we were hanging it, we loved the fact that it reflected, so we ended up hanging it off the wall rather than onto the wall. Ebony has this lovely sculptural structure, which Motherlode Beyond Time. Edwin, there's a very dark piece, and it's about, so it's $489, and that is apparently the minimum a person can live on in a week in Australia. Elizabeth made this lovely piece with the copper, and it's actually dyed paper, and it's called Trapped, and the bird reflects onto the piece at the back.
So I'm here. Should I?
Oh, you're here. Excellent. Do you want to talk for your piece?
Okay, I'll just quickly say, yes, when I actually saw this bird and I took the photo, I was holidaying down in Tassie in Flinders Island, and it was just such a terrible thing to see it panicking in the window, couldn't get out. So I quickly took a photo, and I managed to get it outside, but it made me think over the years. And so I came to make this piece, and I couldn't find the photos, and I just had a printed copy on paper that I'd printed off on my printer. So this is a photo of that, but it says it all. And so I get recycled pattern paper, and I spin it, and then I dye it with natural dyes, and like indigo and madder and thoughts.
Sorry.
Then I make the tapestry. So initially, because I used the paper thread, which is very fragile for the warp and the weft, I had to start off very small, because as you're making the tapestry, you're beating down the weft and it tends to rip the paper thread. So I developed this little copper frame, which allowed me to go larger and larger. So that's what I've ended up with. But the fragility of it while I was making it kind of tied in with the whole, all our living systems are in crisis at the moment. And so it kind of, when a living thing gets taken out of its natural environment, it just can't survive. And it kind of, people tend to be a bit that way too. We isolate ourselves from the natural environment. That's what.
Cool. So here's Enza's work, which are these two lovely You, Me and the You Youngs, and Come Swim With Me. And they're just beautiful embroideries, which I thought were lovely. Freya had these two very earthy pieces with her weavings with a bit of sort of basketry combined with tapestry weaving. They were really interesting. Weaving place 1 and weaving place 2. Freya McLeod has this number 6, and it's actually a story that you can read through, but you'll have to go into the gallery to do that, because it was a lot bigger than I was imagining it was going to be. But it's a machine woven piece, and it's a long story which I haven't had a chance to read yet. I'm planning to do that on Saturday. Georgia had these two lovely tapestry pieces. The one on the left is number 4, Polar Museum of Art, and the one on the right is number 7, The Field Revisited. Hayley had this amazing creative confinement, which when I walked in, so this had to be delivered early because she couldn't come over the time of that we needed things delivered. And it is so much lighter than I thought. When I walked into the room, I thought, oh my gosh, that's going to be so heavy, but it's actually on wheels, and it was quite good to move around. Isabel did these lovely felt pieces, so hanging all with the weaver's thread we've got hanging from the ceiling, and the bud bars, the heathered beige, we've got in a different place but on the table, but they're beautiful the way she's put them together. Jackie has these hearts, which we had a bit of trouble actually getting up. They're the colours of my heart. So I must remember to try and get people to put them so we can actually hang them more easily, because they came as separate pieces. Jay and Gaynor are a mother and daughter couple, and we're woven now. And it has a poem by it, which is really interesting. And all of these stories behind them are also in the catalogue on the website if you want to read more about these pieces. Jasminka, you're here. So would you like to talk about your pieces?
Yeah, I can talk. Maybe I'll start with Joy, the knitted frame, which is part of a very, very large project that I'm doing over many, many years, where I'm knitting golden frames and sort of imitating Baroque frames, really. That's how it started off. And then framing women, that's my sort of, it started off with framing mainly women from the past, but I've gone in different directions. Like there is a frame of my mother, women who have influenced me, and then just basically I call it honoring women, and moving in different directions, but still keeping with that same theme. I'm doing something with Afghanistan at the moment. So, but this piece called Joy is, I hope it's just joy, really. I mean, there is a story behind it, of course, who it is. It's Valeska Gert, and she was a dancer in the Weimar Republic, and she's painted by Jean Mammen, also a German expressionist painter. So all people, I mean, I studied art history. I never heard of these people because I'm one of the people who studied, Gombrich, who didn't mention any women. So now I'm sort of redoing my art history degree by learning about all these women artists. And this is probably part of it. And the other part of my practice is the rug making. So years ago, I learned to weave these braided rugs from Ilka White. And I'd taken it in, I suppose, in a broader direction than just the weaving of, rugs and so on. I'm teaching sustainability to teenagers and doing these rugs and all that. But these two particular rugs, really, it started with the bushfire one, because I've got a whole series of, I mean, these are only 2 out of probably 8 of those rugs. And there were sunsets, sunrises, and so on. And then when the bushfires came and I saw the sunsets of that fiery sun, and that's what that one is really about. And then the floods came. And I thought, I have to do something about that. And so I did the counter picture, really, and that's why they're hanging back to back, because I want to experience people to see, you have the fires, but the other side, and you have to walk around and you see the floods. And the floods has a bit of metal in it. It has a bit of plastic woven into it, and just small little pieces, and just to remind us of what goes down the rivers when they flood. And lots of my clothes and other people's clothes, because when I need a particular color, you better watch out.
That's great. Perfect.
Thank you.
So then we have JB Nips, and so there's trailing lace and the machines for living. And when we hung this, I can't remember who, but someone had the brilliant idea to use the trailing lace to frame her other piece. And in the gallery, it came up so well, because the light then gives the shadowing as a frame around her other piece, which was really great. So they look fantastic. And she, I must say, for JB, she was absolutely brilliant. If it hadn't been for her, a lot of the high pieces wouldn't have happened, because she was brilliant at running up and down the ladder. So that was great. Jess Hall, we have the Floral Sampler #1, and then Floral Fantasies Experiments 4, 5, and 8. And these, so the floral sampler 1 is quite a big piece that's on the wall, and the other 3 are in Petri dishes, and we've got them out on the table, and they just looked amazing. So that was fantastic. Gillian Francis, so Dream Coat Regenerated Kaleidoscope, I can't get my words out, is all made with plastic. So it's different forms of plastic that she's used to create this. Jo has these 2 pieces straight out of the can, which is a tin can with all these lovely little bits out of it. And they're bird bodies and bones, which again, you're using the really earthy tones. And we get another little bird in there. So they're really lovely. Joanna has this wonderful piece, The Bay of Fires. Juliet has Emerging Pride, and somebody, when we were hanging it, had the brilliant idea to actually put it up quite high on the wall at an angle. So it looks like she's floating away. And when Juliet arrived yesterday, she said, oh, it's supposed to be straight. And I've said, oh, okay. And she said, no, but it looks so much better. So that was great. So whoever, I'm not sure whose idea it was, but it looks fantastic because it literally looks like she's floating towards the window in the gallery. Juliet and Jo did these pieces, common threads, and we've hung them so there's 2 at the back quite close together and then 1 at the front, sort of more in front of each other for room. But and that's also what they wanted, was something to be more 3-dimensional than just flat on the wall. So, and we were having problems with wall space at one stage. Kate Knight has this lovely, you've got the whole world in your hands, which is just, when you get into it close, there is so much stitching and little detail in there. It's lovely. Kate has this, the thread within the fold, which in the gallery, we've got it hung slightly differently than this because we didn't have the space to have it very wide. So instead it's longer. Kathy was in our show last time too, and she did these lovely chrysalides, and it's her wire knitting, which she just does so amazingly well. Kerry has I'm Sorry for Not Holding You in My Arms, and it looks great on the floor. And she's got it so that the trailing pieces are sort of the shadow of the upright pieces. Kirsty, A Bundle of Kittens, because apparently she spent a lot of time with cats during COVID. Lindsay has these 2 pieces, Reclaim, Restore, Revive, and Confluence. Louise has Belle's Epoch and Poppy's Poof. And luckily they just fit onto the 2 plinths that we had aside for them, because otherwise we were going to have a problem. That was good. Lyndall has Visitation and the Gifts They Bring. Lynn and Margaret are here, so you can tell us all about your piece.
Well, first of all, I want to start by saying thank you, Tamara, and to all the other artists. I think it was an amazing exhibition that we went to the opening of last night. And Lynn and I have lots of fun collaborating. So this piece, we originally made the first pieces and we called them stalactites, but now we're calling them stalac forms because it's just the form. And it was partly an emotion that I felt when I was making my first ones was, what am I hanging on tight to? Why am I hanging on tight to things? And all of these pieces are made from recycled or scraps of fabrics, and all the filling is recycled cushions or pillows.
Yeah, we were letting go of our stashes.
But it kind of felt a bit deeper than that too, that, you know, what else do we hold on tight to in our lives that perhaps we shouldn't really be holding on tight to? So that's partly how it started. Also, I fully acknowledge that I had done a class with Clarissa Callison, a Canadian artist, and so part of the original form idea came from a class that I did with her, but I had been dyeing and doing rust dyeing and things like that for, I worked out last night when somebody asked me, probably more than 20 years. But it's such great fun, and there's so much. And when I look at rust, and I've researched a little bit about how rust is formed, and it's actually a chemical reaction between the iron in the usually steel pieces that we've manufactured as humans and water. And if you add some things to water, the rust process will accelerate. So it's that chemical process, and it was just such fun rusting pieces to add into the predominantly grey ones we'd started with, because the grey ones, I think, talk to our time of life, was one of the themes that we talked about, wasn't it, Lynn?
Yeah.
That became to become more creative as
we got older.
Well, as time allowed us after different careers earlier in our lives
As
to
we
pay
got
the
older.
bills.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of great fun, and we just love recycling things, and we also love collaborating. So I'm hoping you're going to do another exhibition next year, Tamara.
Definitely not. No, every 2 years. 2 years.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to work to a biennial then. But we're already talking about, well, what next can we do as a collaboration?
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
This piece actually was more about the process than it was about the outcome. The outcome was sort of a byproduct of actually making, which we really loved, and experimenting. It was a fantastic way to play.
Well, and what was really lovely was when you had them on the wheels, and watching the kids walking through them last night was just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah,
so, it was really
that permission to make the move was just the thing that sort of made it work for us on the night, actually. Happy to
because at one stage there was 2 kids under them, and they were kind of wobbling, but they were also swinging slightly, which was really cool.
Yeah,
and we came to the idea that they were much better with a bit of movement, because when we first started hanging them on the wheels, we were actually doing it outdoors. From a beam under my veranda, and there was a little bit of a breeze, and we saw them moving. And wow, we need them to move.
Yeah.
They look so much better.
It was
a fun project to work on.
It sounds great, and they looked fantastic, so that was good.
Thank you so much.
So we have Maria's once here, and this was a piece that came, and it was so much larger than I had imagined it. But it's, again, they're all fantastic. Oh, and Mark, our token male, it was lovely. And he was just so happy to be here. This is his pink Lindblom. And he does these wonderful portraits using all sorts of different fabrics in very bright colours. So this was the first piece we actually put on the wall, and then we worked from there. Because it was the largest, we thought we'd start there. Mickey had this, so the Like a Prayer is on a wall piece, and then the By the Seashore we've got on a plinth. Well, actually, I think it's on a table, but it's all this lovely beading and textures she's done with fabrics. And By the Seashore, they're actually big shells, so that's good. Miriam, Vogue 7640, and it's actually made with paper pattern, so paper dressmaking pattern from Vogue's number 7640. Molly has Firebird and Memento Mori, and again, just all these great stitching pieces. They're just fantastic. Naomi, The Winds of Change, which was about a trip that she went, and I'm off the top of my head, I've forgotten where it was, but past all these new wind turbines. Natalie has It's Not Just Fun, Guys, and this is actually made with wood and fabrics, and hangs on the wall, which when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be a sculptural piece on a plinth, but it actually hangs all together.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Oh, sorry. You are here. Yes, go. You talk about it.
Yeah, so I'm a natural dye artist, and they were all little offcuts that I had. I usually work with, just food scraps and a lot of eucalyptus and stuff. And I just also joined I live in Wangaratta, and I joined like the local Wangaratta woodworkers group. And there's a lot of older guys there that have been showing me how to use all the wood and the machinery. And I'm into sustainability and working. That's why I chose the mushroom theme, because they have so many amazing qualities. But yeah, the men at the woodworking shed, this was just a lot of offcuts that I found on the floor, and I made these little tiny sculptures out of them, and sort of just used a bit of basically just flour and water to bind the fabrics to the wood, and that was how they came about.
Yeah, and we had our little bit of panic in the setup, didn't we, when one of the pieces came off?
I'd come down on the train, and I pulled it out of the bag, and the little piece had come off. So thank God you had some glue there.
Yeah. Luckily there was glue in the back. That was fantastic. But
so thanks for that.
No, it's great. And Natasha, this is a quilted piece. It's complicated. This was another one that was bigger than I had kind of had in my head. Nettie, this is watercolor, and it's got a bit hard to see in the photo actually, but there's beading and stitching on it as well. And it's beautifully framed. So it's an ocean stitching one. Nikki has done these active repair number 1 and 2. Lots of hand stitching and putting together old fabrics to create 2 hangings. These are on our white wall. We've had a white wall, which was really interesting. Nicola, these are the Pinnacles, Cape Woolamai in Phillip Island, and the Nobbies in Phillip Island. And they were just beautifully stitched. So we've got those. Nicole, did I see Nicole here?
I was going to say, sorry, I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Go.
All right, so I've been really unwell with myalgic encephalomyelitis for the last 20 plus years, and the last 3 years I've basically been bedridden and housebound, and unable to perform my normal job, which I absolutely love, and they're desperate to have me back. But in the meantime, it's made me reflect on life, and part of this was obviously getting to enjoy my embroidery again, which I've always loved. And the Pinnacles is kind of really where I felt that I was at, insofar as it's cold, it's dark, everything's pointy and sharp. And then and Phillip Island is my favorite place in the world. We've always had the best family holidays there, from when I was a kid through to when my kids are kids. And now obviously going on to the Nobbies, to me that's almost like the future. It's, with the vegetation, with the there it's being re-vegetated so that the penguins can get back up to their homes, and the sun is shining, and the waves are, it's a nicer wave, it's nice bright light. It's kind of makes me feel like the future, try and look towards the future and all those great things ahead.
Oh, it's great.
And I'd like to thank you all very much, because it has been amazing seeing this volume of work brought together by these inspiring artists. So thank you so much.
No, it's been absolutely brilliant. I'm just blown away. So we've got Nicole, who has her Big White Lies, and basically you probably need to download the catalogue to read them, because each one has a different little saying. And then I'm not sure how she says this, Protect Fur, which is one of her really bright pieces. And there's some doom and gloom and some happiness in it too. Noni, who has Sojourn 7. And apparently she's been doing a lot with these ginkgo leaves, a series of works. And this one, I'm trying to remember now, but it was on Japanese indigo dyeing, and on just a nice piece of fabric. Pat, who kept her COVID diaries, So we've got 21 and 22 diaries. So 21 is a book which you can flick through, and it was just memories. And the 22 is on a tea towel, and it's just things that came into her head of the day or whatever. And so she stitched it. Must have taken so long. Patricia, who has 2 pieces, All That You Are, which is very textured. And then Wasting My Time is one of a series of works. Apparently, there's a few of those. So Patty, Dancing Over the Wall, and this is all made out of vines and leaves, and it's sort of hanging down in the gallery. And it was really interesting watching people walk up to it and realize how it was made, because it's so well shaped and everything. It's lovely. Philomena has Custodians of Life 1 and 2, and she won the gong last night. She was the first piece sold. So we had a red sticker. I'm not sure by the end of it how many we had. I didn't get a chance to look around. And I've got a feeling it was Custodians 2 that sold, but I'd have to check that. So it's nice to have our first sale. Rebecca is Memory Series number 1, and this is in printed patterns on a cloth paper. Robin has Ghosts 1, and I'm terrible, but I've totally forgotten the story behind it. You'll have to go into the catalogue. Rosalie and her rabbit, which got everyone talking because he's big. he's quite big. And he's got those lovely teeth. Rosalind, this is Privacy 1 and Privacy 3, and she started stitching these after a trip to India and all the bright colours and craziness that are India. And when you see them up close, there is so much stitching. Ruby, this is Shingle Parent Association, and she stitched this apparently while she had shingles. Ruby, I Hold What Is Mine. Now, this one was so much smaller than I imagined. So it was, you know, finding the right place that it didn't get overwhelmed, but it's beautiful stitching. Did I see Sally here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Okay, go for it, Sally.
Oh, so these 2 pieces are multi-layered stitch collage. They've got block print paper that I picked up in Istanbul, and block prints, 2 different, and then a wood cut. Those circles are wood engravings on a slice of tree, apple tree, I think it was, from a long time ago. Anyway, they're sort of memory pieces of a journey to Istanbul. So that's all they are, really. Just
lovely.
Silk. I use silk that's rescued from the bridal industry, and I've got enough forever. And
we'll all be coming to your place.
I gave so much away in the year that it was coming to me. Now it's stopped. Anyway, but yeah, that's all really.
Lovely. So the other Sally, I can't see everyone now. So this is After the Bushfire and Beyond the Wild. And again, you know, great stitching, beautifully framed, all these great pieces. Samantha, so this one, because we couldn't have it stretched out, we just didn't have room. So instead she wrapped it around one of the metal pillars in the gallery. So instead of being wide, it's kind of tall and long, goes up the whole pillar. Sophie, this is the jacket, and it's all got the basically red and white beading. And it's really hard to see from this photo. It looks so much better in the gallery with the lights on it. You can really see the sparkle and the amazing bead embroidery. And this is her dream journal. Me. So I've been doing a series called The Web of Life, and these were emotions. So these are a friend of mine in the UK makes ball gowns and all sorts of insane things. So when I was still living there, she gave me a stash that's going to last me a lifetime. But they're all smaller bits because they're, you know, what's left over from dresses. And I just went through the colors and was just thinking of different emotions basically for those. So that was great. And interlaced is also, it's all about the interlacing of life. And what I've used is stainless steel and copper wire to create lace. And this is one of my kintsugi pieces, which is basically where I take a ceramic, smash it into pieces, and then recover it with silk and stitch it back together again. And that started in COVID because I broke a favorite vase and we couldn't go out. So I just used what I had, and then I had such fun with it, I just kept going. So yeah, that's those. And Tanya, this is Solitude 2, which is just a beautiful, colourful piece. Don't know there. Tara, who is a really amazing quilter, and this is her arrangement 3, and it's all reclaimed denims. A lot of it offcut from her other quilt pieces. And Zoe, this is one of those lovely old woolen blankets, and then it's again, this one's growing. We had a show in Assembly Point, which was from Stitching Chain. It was Stitching Change, our show of 20 months ago. It was supposed to be 2 years ago. And they wanted someone to fill it, and we did it. And then Zoe had her show there just after us, and so she had a load of these blankets. They were really interesting, all with different things on them. So that is our show. I can stop sharing so we can see each other. And it was fantastic. It was just so amazing that there's just such diversity. And if you go on the website, you can download the catalogue, and that gives you everyone's bios and the full stories behind their works. So yeah, put on your mics and have a chat.
Yeah, I have put the mic on. Thanks, Tamara. That was great, and so good to see all of the textile artists being able to be exhibited in that space, and the recognition that textile artists are now getting, which is fantastic. And a lot of that is the work you're doing in our region, and I'm just forever grateful.
Well, it started because I was just over people putting us in boxes as textile artists, and also restricting what they would show of our work. It's, you know, it all had to be a bit too pristine and a bit too, I don't know, sort of segmented or something.
Old-fashioned, I think you would call it.
Yeah, and yeah, or else the other extreme, like so way out. It was one or the other, and a lot of people's work just don't fit into these categories and things. So it's been great. We got 32 artists the first time, and I thought that was amazing. And so to get 80 artists this time, you know, admittedly not all of them ended up being able to show, but it was just blew me away. I thought we might get 40. So maybe next time we'll get 100.
Well, and now a textile work has won the Archibalds.
Yeah, so that's
so
that was the best.
I think that will make a very big difference.
Yeah. And I think showing in 45 Downstairs is just such a great gallery, being central, and it's big. So yeah, we'll do it again hopefully in 2 years, unless someone shoots me.
Oh no.
Well, I'm hoping we can keep getting the grant out of the City of Melbourne, because that would be amazing. But if not, with this many artists, it doesn't make it so expensive to show anyway. So we will keep going, and hopefully people will keep passing it on. Well, so thank you all. Sorry, go on. You're going to say something?
No, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to you all. Like really, and Tamara, I'm just in awe, absolutely in awe.
Yeah.
The mad woman.
The way, yeah. Well, we need mad women for this world, you know. So
I'd like
really thank you.
Yeah, and thank you to Tamara. It's amazing. You're very inspiring. And last night was a wonderful night, an amazing night.
It was great. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good to speak to so many like-minded people, and just everyone was so generous and warm-hearted, and it was just a fantastic night.
Yeah, no, it was really good. And it's really nice having those connections too, that, you know, as we go through shows, you get to know more and more of well,
Yes.
more regularly sort of thing, which has been great.
Mm.
So thank you all very much. And I'll let you go and have your dinner.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
Thanks,
Thanks
See you
a lot.
Tamara.
later.
Very
Ciao.
grateful.
See you then.
Well done,
Bye.
everybody.
Yes.